Then once we have the bias values, we want to actually take them and we want to come up with the baseline predictor. And so we just basically add the bias values in from that. And so here's a tabulation of the bias values that we just computed, just in table form. The users are over here and the movies are over here. And so we'll start with user D and movie 3. And we'll just illustrate if just a few of these computations, just 2 of them. We'll just do, for instance, user D, movie 3. So D and 3. Remember, we start with the baseline, or the raw average value of 3.5. Then we add in the bias of user D, which is negative 1.5. And then we add in the bias of movie 3, which is 0.75. So remember, D is a harsh critic, and 3 is a good, quote-unquote, good movie. And when we do that out, we come up with 2.75 this value. So it's lower than the mean. We expect this to be lower than the mean. And the intuition there is that movie 3 isn't as, quote-unquote, much better than the average than D is, quote-unquote, more of a harsh critic than the average. So they don't quite cancel each other out, and we do end up going below the average here for this pair, D3. Let's try user A, movie 2. So we have A2, and that's a value that we don't already know. For D3, we do have that value. Now we want to try A2 for something that we don't know. So we do A2. We get, we start with the mean again of 3.5. Then we add the bias of A, which is 0.83. And then we add the bias of movie 2, which is negative 1.17. So again, this is more negative than this is positive, so we're going to go below the average, and we get 3.16 here. So it's a little more below the average. And if we continue that out, we do the baseline for all the values. This is what we'll get in this table here. Just to note, for instance, some of the values are, or this only one value actually, is 5.00. The reason that it's not, if you did the calculation out for 4, you would have a bias of A 0.83 and movie 3 0.75. It would go above 5, but we clip them at 5 because it's not possible to be greater than 5. So therefore we just clip, and that's a kind of an important point. The reason we clip them at 5 is because we know the rating can't be greater than 5, so we'd only be hurting ourselves by pushing it above 5. So if it goes above 5, then we just hit it at 5, and if it goes below 1, then we just assume that it's 1. So we remember, we can only be between 1 and 5 here.